Yo, what up, man? It's your boy Joe Barber, and I'm here. I was just having a moment of clarity. I was thinking. Um, I was talking to one of my barbers, and they have, we're working out some issues, and so I'm planning how I'm gonna discuss what my thoughts are and how we can move forward, and having a growth plan for them. See, in my mind, I think different, like from what other people think. I have to think like an owner. I have to think like a barber. I have to think like an instructor. I have to think like all those things, all the different hats I have to wear, making sure that I'm putting myself in the customer's position when they walk in. Does it smell good? Does it look clean? Are we approachable to them? Are we acknowledging them? Are we communicating properly? Is the environment set right for family? Uh, as far as the music, making sure that there's no cuss words and whatnot, nothing offensive. So I'm thinking of all these things, right? So when someone asks for an opportunity to work in my establishment, I've already put a lot of work, thought, sweat, and tears into building this establishment. I'm busy. Now, when I ask you what is busy to you, how many haircuts is busy to you? And to me, I've been cutting for 20 years, and I'm at the point where, on average, I want to cut about my average, probably about 8 to 10 is what I want to cut. So that's 8 to 10 haircuts per day. Now, most of my haircuts, on average, are 45 minutes. So 45 minutes per cut, and I'm doing about 8 to 10. And I work Monday. So let's just go with the low end, 8, and I work Monday, Tuesday. I don't work Wednesday mornings, but I work in the evenings, and then I work Thursday, Friday, and I don't no longer work Saturdays. I can work Saturdays if I want, but I choose not to. So on Mondays, let's just say 8 times 4. Okay, so that's gonna be what, 32? 32 customers, right? So if I tell you, oh, I cut about 32, I'm not including what I do on Wednesday nights, because I go cut hair at a private event where I roughly make about, on average, about $500 to $700 just cutting about 4 or 5 people. So that's a whole different. That's not applicable to a lot of people. So 8 times 4 is 32. That's 32 haircuts at, on average, my customers pay, on average, roughly, it's, on average, and I'm going to go ahead and include tip, $50 a person. So if you do the math and you're like, so 32 times 50, so on average I'm making, and that's just low end because I'm saying eight people, I'm making $1,600 a week by, like I said, on average I'm cutting 8 people, and most of my customers, and you have to understand, my kids cuts, which I cut roughly about 2 to 3 kids a week, they charge, they pay 30 just to sit in my chair. Mom, dad usually tip me about $10 on average per kid. Now adults, just to get a regular haircut is $40. To get a haircut style with a beard, 50. That's without the tip. Most of my customers tip me $10 to $20 a cut. And so low ball, and that's not including the event that I go to. It's a poker game that I do on Wednesdays. So now, somebody I was discussing this with, and I'm like, well, 33 cuts. I asked these questions. If you're gonna work, right, if you want to work at my barbershop, I'm gonna say, why are you a barber? I need to know your why. Why did you become a barber? And then we discussed that. And just to remind yourself, and so you can open up to me and let me know what your vision is, because I don't know your vision. And then I ask, well, how many cuts is busy to you? You know, and so we're here writing. I'm gonna write the numbers down in front of you, and I'm gonna ask you, because some people are like, man, I do, man, I want to do about 50 cuts. I want to do 50 haircuts a week at bare minimum or average. Okay, 50, and that's doable. I'm not gonna, depending on how fast you cut and how much you're getting paid. Now we're in a time where people want quality haircuts. There's a lot of talented barbers out there, and you got Photoshop pictures that are on Instagram and on Facebook where people bring those images in. They're like, I want my hair like that. And I'm like, cool, we can do that. Not everybody's hair is the same, and yes, you gotta make sure that you are transparent with that during the consultation, but it's doable. Now, when you're doing a haircut that's high quality, a lot of times it takes time, and they just say 45 minutes. That's reasonable. I know there's barbers out there that can cut 30 minutes. Is it gonna be high quality, razor edge up, skin fade, everything tight, no hair out of place, everything, my hair's jacked up right now. I was wearing a hat earlier, but I'm saying, like, there's a lot of people that want that kind of quality. So it takes time to do that. So not everybody can do 30 minutes. 45 is reasonable. Sometimes it's an hour. If they get the beard, they want the line, they want you to tuck it in, do, this, hot towel. I haven't met anybody yet that can do it in 45 minutes, a haircut and a shave. So sometimes it's an hour. They just say an hour, right, for the full service. So if you're telling me you're doing 50 haircuts, and bare minimum, our haircuts here are $25 for a regular haircut. Skin fades are $30. So let's just say $30 times 50. So that's already $1,500 that you're already in your mind you're doing. You could make that much money, but we have to do the math. So 30 haircuts, you got to multiply, let's just say an hour. So that's 30 hours of your week that you're gonna spend cutting. That's not a restroom break. That's not washing your hands. That's not cleaning your clippers. That's not sanitizing your station. That's not washing your combs. That's not marketing. That's not recording. That's not taking pictures. That's not eating, whatever. So that's guaranteed 30 hours that you're gonna spend physically cutting, not cleaning, not doing anything else. So if you're working a 40-hour week, right? Let's just say you're working 40 hours and you're working every day, you're here on time and you stay late. So there's 10 hours that are unaccounted for. So are you gonna spend those 10 hours, if you're as determined as you are, so you're gonna have 10 hours of downtime where you're gonna be marketing, learning, cleaning, and I don't know how much time I can't calculate how much time it takes for you to clean. And if you're young and you're capable of standing up for that amount of time, because you're already standing up 30 hours. You're already gonna stand up 30 hours. See, and me, most of my customers are back to back. All my appointments are back to back. And I'll have like downtime, like maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes. That's not always the case. Sometimes as soon as my guy gets out the chair, the next guy's already waiting. Because most of my customers, they're good on time because they prepaid. So they're here, their appointment's at 10, they're here at 9:30. And they wait and they're just chilling, no big deal. So I when I interview people, I want them to know, like, someone may say like, man, none of y'all are that busy. And I'm like, well, if someone's cutting 33 people at $30 with no tip, you know what I'm saying? That's $1,000 a week. So I don't know what busy is. So that's why I ask people what busy is. If you're doing 33 cuts at $30, with you're spending an hour, that's not including tips. 45 minutes per cut. That's 1,485 minutes weekly. So it's 24 hours and 70. It's 24.75 hours of actual cutting. That's $1,000 a week right there. 33 cuts. Is that busy? I don't know. $1,000 a week. It's pretty good. You know, $1,500 a week is better. Like I said, 50 haircuts. You know, at $30 a pop. That's not including tip. You're working 30 hours. Physically working 30 hours, standing up. No lunch, no breakfast. This is cutting. $1,500. So, which one do you want to do? Do you want to do 30 haircuts or 50 haircuts? I want to do 30 haircuts. That's what I want to do. 20 years in the game. Now, I'm not saying that everyone can do that, but that should be your goal. That should be a lot of our goals. I'm at that age where I can't be standing for 30 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? Like just straight standing. Like not, of course, not 30 hours in a row. I'm saying like 30 hours in a week of standing. Like I just can't do it like that anymore. So that's my question to you guys out there. What is busy to you? And I know we get into the barber forums that are on Facebook, and I see people throw out some crazy numbers. And I'm thinking in my head, like, man, so if you're cutting 60 people a week, right? You're, oh man, I cut 20 people a day. You know, I see people do. I'm like, damn. So I'll do the math. Like I break out a paper and a pen, and I'm like, okay. So you're telling me this guy is doing 30 haircuts a day or 20 haircuts a day. I'm like, okay, so your haircuts are what? 15 minutes each. And you know, I start doing the math, and I'm like, man, that's damn near impossible to do for 52 weeks in a year, right? To, you know, and then I do the math. I'm like, so if everybody's paying you $30, that's what it costs for a haircut, and let's just say they're tipping you, and we'll average it out at $5. You know, you're making $35 per cut on average, and you multiply it, and you're saying you're cutting this many 20 people a day. That's a lot of money that you're making. And then I start thinking, okay, if you're reporting this to the IRS, you know, if you're really doing this and you're putting this kind of money into your account, and you, how many write-offs do you have? Are you the owner of the shop? Are you writing off all these things? Yes, my mind starts thinking like a businessman. I'm not. You can't cap like that on people that know what's up, you know. And if you're not reporting all your earnings, then that's on you. But I'm saying, like, that's how I start thinking. But when I interview people that want to come work here, these are the questions that I ask. And I'm like, when people tell me how you know, how many cuts is busy to you, and their minds is like, they throw this high number, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's for sure, that's busy, but is that doable? Or let's be realistic about how many people you're bringing in, because if you're spending that much time, you know, cutting hair, when do you market? When do you clean your tools? When do you sanitize? When do you wash your hands so you don't go to the restroom? You don't have to eat. You don't, you know, you never get any phone calls. You never have incidents happen. You never get sick. You never, like, all these things go through my mind, and I'm like, so you're telling me you're just like in a perfect world, and all your customers always show up on time. They never cancel on you. They never get in car accidents. They never have a flat tire. Their kid never gets sick. Like, you're constantly like busy. So yeah, I'm realistic, man. I live in this reality that we're in. I'm not gonna give you any false information. I'm not gonna tell you that I have all these, like, I'm cutting this many haircuts and doing. Man, I'm here. We close at 5, and it's gonna be 6:30 already. One of my barbers, he's the only one that's committed to being here and taking care of these walk-ins. Another barber that we're talking about, they said that nobody here is busy. They're the ones that are not here. They get here late, they leave early. They always have errands to run. They always have excuses. Now, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to be mean. I know things happen, and I'm not trying to throw them in under the bus. But I'm using this as an example to reach you guys. everyone that's out there. There's two type of people. One person that makes excuses, and the other person figures out a way. It's like you can be the person that is always pointing out what's wrong, or you can be the person that's finding out solutions. There's money in solutions. I haven't met anybody that gets paid, as you mentioned, but you can point out all these things that are going wrong, but the money is in the solution. That's where the money's at. You find solutions, stop making excuses. And that's the way I operate. You know what I'm saying? If I got a flat tire and I look at my time and I'm like, man, am I going to make it to the tire shop, or do I still have time to get an Uber? Or do I have time to call, if I don't have a vehicle? I find a way. And I always keep the clock ticking in my head. Like, I got to be here at 9:30. My target is to be here at 9:30. So if I do get here at 9:45 because there's an accident or there's traffic, I'm going to still be here before 10. And I'm going to be ready to cut my clients. I'm going to be ready, to, when they walk in that door, they don't want to hear about, oh man, I had a flat tire, bro. They're like, well, I have a doctor's appointment that I have to be at. I have to be at work at this time. I have to go pick up my son at this time. I have an appointment to go do these things. So a lot of the people that I mess with, time is important to them. Availability is important to them. They value me, they value my time, and they make me a priority. So therefore, I make them a priority. And that's why people pay me what they pay me. It's not about me being the best barber or that I execute every haircut to perfection, because I don't. But your skill is about 15% of what people pay for. Everything else, I have a thing that I can't print it right now because my printer's at home. But I have a pie chart that breaks down your knowledge, your speech, your availability, your, everything. It breaks it down into what people value, and it varies from person to person. But a lot of the professionals that I deal with, people that are CEOs, people that are athletes, people that are teachers, people that are, principals, people that are business owners, they value time and they don't mess around with it. If they tell you they're going to be there, they're here. And they're not here to waste my time, and I'm not here to waste their time. And it bothers me when I'm not on schedule. So these are the things that I want to pass on to you guys. This is just free game, man. And I'm being real with you, transparent. This is all organic right here. I didn't premeditate none of this. I'm just thinking like, you know what, man, this is something I can share with these guys out here and women out there, just to be realistic. And I'm old school. I like writing stuff down. But when you're listening to other people break stuff down and tell you, I'm making this much money, I'm cutting this much hair, and blah blah blah, you really don't just take them for their word. Write it down and do the math. Do it yourself and understand what it takes, and don't be fooled to thinking, these barbers out here that are misleading you. I'm not speaking about anybody in particular, but I'm saying I've seen it myself where people are like, yeah, man, you can make 100,000 easy, man, you follow this plan. And then it's like, what about you got to take into consideration all the things that have happened and the days that, you get sick, you have to clean, you have to sanitize, a lot of other things have come into play. I use a different cape on each client. I have a washer and dryer in my shop. So at the end of the day, I have to wash all the capes. I have to wash towels. I have to make sure my station's sanitized fully. The whole shop has to be sprayed. And that's what I do. I have to make sure that the speaker and iPad are charged up for tomorrow. And I have to be here early now. My manager is having a baby, so I have to be here early. My schedule doesn't start till 11, but I get here at 9:30. Make sure that I mop, make sure that I clean, make sure everything's functioning, AC is working, restrooms are clean, toilet paper is put out, soap is available. Make sure that we have enough paper towels, make sure we have enough toilet paper. These are all the things that have to go through an owner's mind, and I'm sure that I'm missing some stuff, but y'all get the picture. And on top of that, you still gotta cut hair. You still gotta cut 33 haircuts or whatever. And like I said, you have your number. You have whatever your expectation is, but you have to be realistic. You know how long you take to do a haircut. You know how long it takes, man. And And don't feel like, oh man, well, I'm not as skilled as I should be because it takes me 50 minutes to do a haircut. You want to cut down, but if you're giving quality haircuts and people are paying you $1 per minute, you way ahead of a lot of people, man. You way ahead of a lot of people. Now there's some haircuts. Yeah, I can do a south side fade pretty quick. I can do a ball fade pretty quick. You know, I got customers that pay me $40 and I'll finish their haircut in 20 minutes. Real deal, no lie. I do that. Skin fades, ball fades. If you know, half on top, one on top. You know, line up the mustache and the goatee. Yeah, I can do that in 20 minutes. Not everybody's haircut's that fast, but I can do those. But like my haircut, my hairstyle, you know, the drop fade, the low fade, the skin fade, the lineup, the eyebrows, the mustache, you know, do my goatee, hit it with the enhancement, you know, do a little part. All that takes time and skill. Separating the hair, you know, all that kind of stuff, man. Texturizing takes time. So don't be ashamed of it or don't feel like you're behind that bad. It's not a bad thing like that. But be realistic.